First up, start with a big news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. This is with regards to yet another terror incident that's come to light from capital Srinagar. This is a grenade attack that's taken place in Srinagar. 10 people have been injured after terrorists lobbed a grenade near the tourist reception center in Srinagar during the Sunday market rush. And the area now has been cordoned off with security forces on the spot. Search operations have been launched and forces are also scanning CCTV visuals from the blast site. In fact, we're learning of the 10 people who sustained injuries. 4 have been discharged after being given medical treatment. 6 people continue to receive medical treatment is what we're learning in the latest. But a grenade blast taking place in Srinagar near the tourist reception center in the city. Before we go across to our reporters for the latest on ground, here's a report filed by my colleague Ishan Bani. Take a look.
6 people sustained injuries when a grenade was hurled at the popular Sunday market in Srinagar near Lal Chowk. This is a TRC area where generally CRPF is stationed on my right-hand side, and about few feet away from that location, you will see that is the place where a street vendor had placed his cart, and that's where the grenade exploded. The target was the forces, but because there's a lot of crowd in the area, so the grenade fell around that particular location and injured civilians. But the forces have now cordoned off the area, trying to check who the attacker is. But there has been an upward trend in the number of those attacks which we have seen, be it encounters, be it grenade attacks or attacks on non-locals, that has certainly gone up. And this will alert the security agencies to what really they can do in the coming days. But it's a concern nonetheless, with the security force are now trying to devise a plan or check that how an attacker came to Srinagar's Lal Chowk and was able to throw a grenade and then get away as far as the investigation is concerned right now. But the forces will have to see that how did they manage to come to Lal Chowk and open throw grenade at Srinagar Sunday market, resulting in injuries to civilians.
I want to go across to Ishan Mani, who's now joining us live on the broadcast. Ishan, you've been getting us non-stop details on the grenade attack that's come to light from Srinagar. Tell us a little bit about the current situation. 6 people, I believe, are undergoing treatment still.
Well, yes, there are 6 people undergoing treatment at the SMHS hospital in Srinagar. You wouldn't hear, grenade attack taking place in Srinagar's heart, which is the Lal Chowk. And if Lal Chowk grenade has been thrown, that means the security agencies and the forces will have to work a little harder to tackle these attacks and to see that where did the attacker come from, how did he manage to come there and hurl grenade. But it's very clear that they took advantage of the crowd which had gathered there. There are thousands of people who come to this flea market, and this flea market generally is where the people come from far off places in Kashmir and even in the Srinagar city. One of the common examples to explain and tell audiences that what this market is like Daryaganj, where a lot of people and crowd comes on Sunday to the flea market, the similar market that is there on Sundays only in Srinagar, and this is where they've hurled a grenade. The CRPF position is at least 15 meters away from where the grenade exploded. It exploded on a cart at street vendor's cart where he was selling clothes, and this is generally where thousands of people come on Sunday. And this is somewhere concerning. If the Lal Chowk, becomes a target, if they come to Lal Chowk and hurl a grenade, that means they're able to they can throw a grenade at any other place. And if and the attacker has dared to come there, that means he is potentially a threat to the security and peace in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, what happened was that he threw a grenade, he escaped and he ran because there were a lot of crowd in the area. There were a lot of people going, in the area. They were doing their shopping, and there was chaos for a moment. And but for the CCTV that those have been installed at the CRPF bunker, as I said earlier, there's a NACA of CRPF generally established there along with the J&K police. The CCTV footage from that particular spot and other spots is being looked at. They're trying to sanitize the area. They're trying to see that where did he come from, was with the multiple people who wanted to target the security forces, and the grenade fell into that cart. This is a proper concern for the security forces. In last 24 to 30 hours, you have 2 non-locals been attacked in Badgaon, where they were hurt in those areas where they are now stable. One was shot in his arm and then leg, and then what happened is that in Bandipur an army camp was targeted by these militants, and later on in Srinagar there was an encounter with the top Lashkar commander who has been working in regard to Kashmir from Pakistan and here from the last at least 20 to 23 years. So yes, there's a cause of concern as expressed by even the chief minister saying that security forces should get the situation under control. And because of these attacks coming frequent, yesterday you had Farooq Abdullah raising questions to really why are these attacks taking place soon after the government has taken over, led by his son Umar Abdullah, and then there was politics around the BJP slamming Farooq's statement. But yes, the concern is that there needs to be security, and security grid will have to be much more alert. There needs to be intelligence input generation and human intelligence that needs to be gathered. The Inspector General of Police, VK Birdi, has also visited the injured at the SMHS hospital in Srinagar. But as I said, the concern is that the injuries are happening frequently. Civilians, non-locals being targeted, security forces at the target, and why are they happening now? That is a primary question that the political parties, even the chief minister, is asking, given the fact that the home is under the lieutenant governor and the home minister. And one has to see that despite the unified high command meeting that was held by the lieutenant governor, that these attacks continue, and there's a situation is somewhere where the security forces are expressing their concern and trying to see that how they can be able to contain the situation. But they're trying to increase narcos. They're trying to ensure that they're able to position security forces at vulnerable points and spots where there's a possibility of attacks being carried out. And yes, there'll be a thorough investigation. Just few years back, there was a grenade attack at Pratap, possibly just 4 to 5 years back, and the attacker was held. He had received inputs from across the border through a messaging app to carry out grenade attack at Pratap Park in Srinagar's Lal Chowk, and it had happened even on the Sunday, as I said earlier. So this is an attempt to create chaos and mayhem. And now one has to see that how long does it take for the forces to identify the attacker and how they are able to identify him, because 10 civilians have been hurt. Many of them are minor injuries, and they will be discharged very soon. Some of them who have received minor injuries, but many of them have splinter injuries, and one has to see that what action follows from the security forces perspective.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And what's all the more concerning is this comes right after the encounter that took place in Srinagar. And Srinagar really has not been in news for these kind of terror-related activities, Ishan, isn't it? So an encounter yesterday, a grenade attack in the heart of the city today. And what we're also learning is that the grenade explosion took place very close to where the security forces were deployed. So can we say that the attempt was to actually target, the deployment of security forces in that particular area?
Well, that seems to be the primary target. It seems like that they were the primary targets, but the target missed the spot. And in the past, even whenever they're having grenade attacks in Lal Chowk, there has been possibility of locals getting hurt. And multiple times, whenever they are having grenade attacks around Lal Chowk, it is the civilians who have gotten injured. Be it around the Hari Singh High Street area of Srinagar, be it around the Lal Chowk periphery. This is one of the sensitive areas from the security forces perspective, where the grenade attack has taken place near the All India Radio. In the 90s, there was a grenade launcher attack on the AIR's building. And then you have the TRC on the other side, where a Fidayeen attack took place in the 2000s. And then, that building got burned down to ashes. But situation has been by and large peaceful around these locations. And if the peaceful location like Lal Chowk can have a grenade attack, that means the situation is not well. And that is where the security forces, agencies, and other paramilitary forces will have to swing into action and generate more input about the presence and possibilities of these attacks. Though there are certain reports which indicate that there was already an intel alert that there is a possibility of an increased number of attacks on security forces or non-locals. Given the fact that whenever we have seen that there have been attacks on non-locals, it is that they continue for a while, and only after some actions by the security forces they're able to get grip of the situation. But yes, it's clear that the target was security forces, but it missed the target. As I said, in many times it has missed the target, and the civilians have to face the brunt, and many of them have been injured, and they are being treated at the Srinagar SMHS hospital.
Oh yes.